Welcome everyone to part two of our video game book club where we are playing Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear
Yep,
Solid.
Got it.
That's it.
there you go.
That's
Got
it.
it.
All of it. Nailed it.
That's the game.
So this is part two of our playthrough. Not too much to say because it's a Christian's game, so I am gonna let him take it away.
Yeah, so you guys might be wondering, because of the way we usually structure these videos, don't worry, don't be alarmed. I didn't kill Travis. I just pushed him out of my room, and I'm taking over for this part, so not a big deal.
I should have worn the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
sure,
yeah,
same
that would have been
clothes.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to, we're going to pick up where we left off from here, or from last time. So this will be right in the hangar, like basement 2 of the armory here. So, and there's some things that we can do here. I don't know if you guys did these, but so we obviously got the access to level 1 card at the end of the last playthrough there from Baker. And you can run back up to the basement level 1 and get the cardboard box, which is obviously a staple of the Metal Gear series. Did you guys both go do that?
I did. It's real nice.
I did not get the cardboard box. I did run around and like go back and forth a couple of times with like key cards that I got. I got like guns. I got some other stuff that were optional items. I don't think I got the cardboard box though.
I got the
That's
silencer.
okay if you. Go ahead, Preston.
I got
the
silencer. I got
Yeah,
that.
yep. You can also get the suppressor. So you can get the suppressor as well. But that's the other thing that you can get up on that next level. But yeah, so the cardboard box is in here. So it's probably I would argue it's probably the most iconic item in Metal Gear Solid, or just Metal Gear in general. So, but the thing that you get to use it for is it's a way that you can hide from cameras. So if a camera comes over, you can put this cardboard box on, and then it doesn't actually see anything, and you can keep moving when it turns away.
Does work as well with some enemies. I don't know if it doesn't work with some, but there was one point where I'm on that bridge in the top section, and I I get up further, and this guy is walking on that right side. He comes back down. What I do is I follow him up, and then I get as far as I can before he starts turning around. And I put the box on, so that way he can walk past me going back. He does stop a couple times, going, "Hey, oh, it must be nothing," and he walks away.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's supposed to work for enemies or if it doesn't. Or
It does. It works in the way that you're using it right there, right?
Okay,
So what it'll do is
You can't move around with it, but yeah.
right. So it'll use like they'll walk by it and they won't actually go for it, but they'll say hey, what is that? And then they keep moving. We then once we get those two things, it is time to make our way back down and get into the level 2 of this area, and this is where we're in the armory. So we get in here and we can run around, and there's not really a particular thing that it makes it makes sense where to go at first until you start noticing. You can also call on the codec, but you can also notice it where there is you'll pick up some C4 around here, and then there will be some rough textures on the walls where it shows that the wall has been recently cemented over, and you just pop some C4 on that bad boy and blow a hole right through it so that you can continue to walk through.
You also can knock on it just to check, because it does make a different sound when you knock on it.
It does, yes, which is one of the hints that you can get in the codec, which is, you'll try knocking and then you can hear a hollower sort of sound and use that. And then in the next hallway, we find another miscolored wall, so we blast a hole through that, and once we get into that room, we will find the ArmSec president, so we'll find Baker tied up here in an explosive trap. And this is where we get a cutscene, and we meet this is my personal favorite character in the Metal Gear series, outside of maybe Raiden, but is Revolver Ocelot. And this dude, as soon as he enters, is just probably about as much of a character as anybody else that happens in this series, where he is just spinning his fucking revolver around and talking shit, and he's I'm gonna show you why they call me Revolver Ocelot, like a whole fucking thing. And he's like, I think he goes, he says whatever the name of his gun is, and then he's like, 6 bullets, just enough to kill. And it's like,
Which is so ridiculous and the most inefficient thing. Because, like, but what if, though, there's more than 6 people?
well, but also,
can go through
you're
it.
not even focusing on the right part. The right part is that just one of those bullets is enough to kill.
That's fair.
Sure. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Enough to kill me. I'm on easy mode, buddy.
That's true. That's fair. But I'm just saying, like, he talks about what a sharpshooter he is and all this other stuff. It's like, well, yeah, you shouldn't need 6 bullets to kill somebody. You should be able to do that just handily with 1. But, yeah, so there's some things in this fight that are very funny. I don't know if you guys got some of these funnier game overs that can happen. So one is that you have an option, because obviously we've picked up grenades at this point. If you throw a grenade anywhere in this room, it is game over, because
Yep.
all of the explosives
That's
all
the
go
first
up at
time.
once. And yep. And the
Yeah, I'm
whole
like,
room
you know what?
is-
I'll
I
start
did that
tossing
as
grenades
well.
at him. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Did not work.
I
if
got one of the game overs, and the commander came over and was just like, "Snake, you idiot!" And I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he
"No."
does. For the grenade one, and if you run towards Baker and set off all of his explosives, the commander calls you an idiot both times, which is really funny.
That's the
because
one.
it's-
That's the one I got. I thought could run inside the pillar, and I ran through all the wires.
Yeah, the
and
mines.
set it off.
Yep. And it's really funny because so you do this, and because you're so used to, especially by this point, if you've died at all, it's the classic like thing that everybody knows, where it's like snake, snake, like they yell or whatever, and it depends on whatever the character is, and they'll do it. But this one, just like out of nowhere, is like, you idiot, and you're like, oh Jesus, all right, my fault, man. But yeah, so this is a fight that, and I'm gonna keep. I'll say this for the fights that I know for sure that happen like this. This fight is another one that it's fairly straightforward. You want to not shoot in the direction of Baker, so you want to keep him alive, but you also are just, while you're running around and dodging Revolver Ocelot, you want to try to get the drop on him, shoot him with your gun, and just keep going up until the end of the fight. If you run out of ammo and there's no more ammo pickups, even though they drop occasionally throughout the fight, you'll have to resort to running around trying to punch him in his face. That is a lot less fun.
Because he just, like, every time you move, he, like, moves opposite, right? Like, I had him bouncing between the top left and the bottom left, and I was just running up and down, but chasing him would be a pain.
Yes.
Yeah. You usually gotta get him to commit to one corner, and as soon as you see him commit to that corner, then you can go to that corner the opposite way, and you can usually catch up to him that way.
Yeah, you usually get the drop on him. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the fight. But what I was gonna for the Twin Snakes remake, this fight is made to be like extremely trivial because of the first person view. Because the whole point is that Revolver Ocelot is, like, you're running and you're trying to get him to, like what Preston was saying, you're trying to get him to commit to one area so that you can get the drop on him and either shoot at him or run at him, whatever you have to do. And in this one, because it's first person, you literally just watch him run and you're just like bang, 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 bang. Like, you just catch him as soon as you see him and you just shoot him and he's done.
That's dumb.
It's very funny how easy this fight is made because of that. But yeah, so we go through here and Ocelot gives his classic line at the end of "You're pretty good," which is like a thing that his character does all the time throughout the series. And he goes to start talking shit, but not before an invisible ninja swoops in, chops off his arm. Remember this for later. This is just a foreshadowing here.
Okay.
Chops off his arm and makes Ocelot immediately flee and says, "You can't even die right." And then he pieces out and leaves. And the ninja also says, "See you later. I'll be seeing you." And this is where, after we cut all of the wires to get Baker out, the ninja actually does that for us before he leaves. all the C4 explodes, but it keeps Baker safe because it's not attached to him anymore. And they leave, and so now we can finally have our conversation with Baker. And some fun stuff that happens here is that Baker at first believes that you're here to kill him, and that the Commander Jim has sent you here to kill him. And so he's like, "Oh, you bastard!" And he takes his cane and he just starts like banging him on his leg, like Snake on his leg. And Snake's like, "Hey, could you shut the fuck up for a sec?"
Banging him on his leg is a way to describe what he was doing. He was going,
yeah,
like it was like the animation was just like barely.
I know. But it's funny because he is like, and Snake yells at him and he's like, "Asshole, I just told you, I'm here to save you. Like, shut the fuck up." So, and then he goes and starts asking him about his detonation codes. And, Baker lets us know that they actually, also gave his away. Or he gave his away. And the terrorists have it now, so they have both destination codes, which means they can launch these nukes at any point once they get Rex operational.
I liked his lines here because it was actually, oddly enough, was like the most realistic thing that I've ever heard in a Kojima game, where he's like, "What do you mean you gave him away?" And he was like, "I never went through torture resistance training."
Yeah, so he says that he has an implant in his brain that will stop him. It helps him combat psychological like persuasion and different things like that. And so then Snake goes, "Well, then how the fuck did you give it up?" And then he's like, "I never went through training to resist physical torture, so they just beat the shit out of me until they got it." Which is funny. But then, so they start talking, and he basically says, "Hey, you have two different things that I'm gonna need you to do. Is one, I need you to find Hal Emmerich. He is one of the main scientists for Metal Gear Rex. He should still be here in the building, and he should be able to help you figure out whatever weak points there is, whatever you do to stop it. And then he also tells you to meet up with Campbell's niece, Meryl, who we find out that is the soldier that we met earlier, who was in the prison with us. And there's also a line here where he says he tries to ask, he's like, where is or what's Meryl's frequency? And then he's like, he looks and he goes, "I forgot." And like just like plainly says like, "I don't remember anymore." And I was like, "Well, thanks for the help there, dude." And as we get ready to get him up and get him out of there, because we said we were gonna save him, he also dies mysteriously from another heart attack. And he's like, "Oh, you bastards did it! You fucking people at the Pentagon! You finally did it! You used him to..." Bleh. And then he passes out.
That was the thing that got me at the very end. He was like, "Oh my god, they finally did it," and then he dies. You're just like, okay.
But and they also say like he's like, "They used you to," and then he's like, "Bam!" And so Snake obviously is like, "Well, I don't know what the fuck that's about," but clearly something weird is going on. And so we call Campbell and we tell him, "Hey, Baker's dead. We don't know, like it's the same thing that happened." And at this point we talked to also Natasha, and she feels like she knows a little bit more than what's going on here, because there's a lot of times where Snake will ask her a question about something and she has like just ellipsis to say. She's like, "I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but we'll have to get his body back for an autopsy. I don't know. Like maybe he was poisoned. Who knows?" Campbell says he has no fucking idea what's going on, but that not only do we need to locate Hal Emmerich, but we should contact his niece. And he lets us know that the code for her is on the back of the CD case. The codec
Straight
calls
up,
on the back of the CD
just
case.
said
Straight
like,
up. Hey,
you should look on the back of the CD case.
So
you're like, that was blatant as shit, Kojima. Thank you.
Yeah. So what's funny is that this is actually you. So you think that, but there's a lot of people who were stumped on this even back in the day. So what's funny is that as we're coming through, you get a disc item, like a floppy disk. And so a lot of people kept thinking that floppy disk had something to do, like if you could call about it or investigate it somewhere in the game. They thought that's where it had to do. But no, like legitimately, he means straight up the video game case, if you flip it over, in the back there's a screenshot of Snake talking to Meryl, and it shows her codec code, and that's where you're supposed to get it from. In the Master Collection that we're playing on, it will let you go to the start menu and examine the manual, and then you can or see the full CD case and flip it over on the back, and you can see it right there. But her codec code is 14015. I just know it because it's been ingrained in my brain for so long that I just remember it. So it was just call her up. Yes, Alex.
So I forget why I did this. Maybe I didn't want to go to the codec. I don't remember because it was like 2 weeks ago and I was on a plane. But I just hit X 3 times. It was like, hit it once. They're like, this is not an active code. And I hit it again. They're like, this is an active code. Hit it 3rd time. And they're like, this is the code you're looking for. And just gave it to me. And then saved it. I was like, oh, okay.
Enough tries.
Thank you.
Yeah, like what happened with me.
That
with
must be a
bosses.
thing. That must be a thing in the Master Collection. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
'Cause when the
I don't
bosses,
know
that
why
happened.
I did that. Because I could have looked. Maybe it was a internet thing. Like maybe I wasn't connected to the internet, so it wouldn't let me look at like the information. But I feel like it would have. I don't know why I did.
Yeah, because it's just on the game. It wouldn't have done anything with the internet.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It did it.
So,
like,
but I just hit.
was it the same thing for me? Like because I was going after a boss, we'll talk about later. But like I kept just dying without even getting close, and then like I got a call in the codec like, hey, by the way, you might want to use this and this to take care of.
No, that's a normal function.
Normal
so
function,
if you
okay.
die to a boss over and over time,
They
'cause
will come at
what
you
you're
with
supposed to do is
tips.
and I know we talked about this before, but the codec pauses everything that's happening
Mm-hmm.
around you. So if you're in the middle of something like a boss fight, whatever, if your first move can be to pull up the codec and call everybody so that you can get a leg up and figure out what the hell is going on. But yeah, if you don't do that and you just die over and over and over again, the game will usually hit you up and be, hey, do this. Like, go do this.
Okay.
Try this. I've never seen it where if you just call over and over again, it's like, no. Then it goes like, here, fucking asshole. Like, here's the code. So I don't know. But, yeah. So we also get the level 2 key card from Baker here. So that opens up some extra areas for us. And we can do some cleaning up as we sort of are heading back to get towards Mr. Hal Emmerich here. So one of the things that we can do is head back up to the armory that we were at, and now that bottom right room, which is the security room there, we can actually get in. And Campbell gives us a call. I don't know if either of you guys went in this because it is technically optional, but this is where you can get the FAMAS weapon. But when you run in, Campbell gives you a call and says, hey, this place is protected by like lasers, like infrared lasers, so you need to be careful. You'll have to figure out some way to pass through the beams. He'll tell you to call Natasha, and or the weapons expert, and she will give you some extra information, which is to use your
I did
cigarettes.
this.
Yeah, and Snake is like,
okay, all right.
what happened with you?
So I was following the guy, and the guy's like, oh, you need the thermal goggles. You could have gotten them over here if you got them in the beginning of the game. I'm
You
like,
can use those. Yep.
guess what? Didn't get those. So I'm like, well, I don't have thermal goggles. I'm like, but in that other basement over there in the armory, there was a room that had the lasers too. So what happens is when you go into those lasers, it just starts calling dudes in to come attack
Yep.
you. So to get out of there without hitting the lasers again, you crawl under it. So my first thing was, I'm like, well, if I can't get the fucking thermals, like, can I just crawl under these lasers? And you can. I just crawled
Yes,
straight up
you-
under the
that
lasers
is-
and just went through.
Well, that's because
I-
one of them is missing there. So that is actually how you're supposed to get through it, which is funny that you did that.
I
Must
did
found the right
thermal
spot.
glasses, thermal goggles. So
Did
that
you?
was the one I did. Yep.
Yeah, so he tells you to call her in that same call. So if you call her,
does.
she tells you to use
She
cigarettes.
did tell him, oh, did she get cigarettes? Okay, I didn't miss the cigarettes part. Yeah.
Yeah, so she does. So because she argues, he's like, well, my cigarettes are smokeless cigarettes. So, and she's like, well, as long as you use as long as you breathe directly at the area, like it'll still
Humidity,
show up.
yeah.
So it'll be fine. But yes, you can use the thermal goggles here if you have them. But that's more examples of, hey, some of this exploration truly is optional. Like you can get these things to make your stuff easier, but the game will give you the stuff that you need to make sure you can get past it. Or You just brute force it like Preston did, and
Yeah.
you won't get caught as long as you just get lucky and crawl through the right spot.
Yeah.
But yes, so this is where you get the FAMAS, which is a fully automatic assault rifle, and it helps, especially in some of the later areas. But it goes a lot quicker than the SOCOM to kill enemies, if you have to. You can also, I don't know if either of you guys got it, so depending on whether or not I'll just. But did you guys get the mine detector
Yes.
as well? Alex, you did. Okay, well, so for Preston, if you go back up to the tank hangar, and go across the catwalk, there's a level 2 door, like all the way. I think it's like back left, I think. But you can use that key code to open that, and at the back of that is the mine detector.
I may have gotten it then. I think I went to, because it's that you got that spot where the lasers are, and then to the left of it's the stairs, and that door right next to those stairs on the second level.
Yeah.
I think I got it then. Yeah, if not, I'll go back.
So, because you can use that, well, you've already passed the part where it's super helpful, so it's not that big of a deal.
Fair enough.
But there's a fight later that we'll talk about here in a second that mine detector can be helpful for. But yeah, so you can get that. But then after that, that's basically all the real cleanup that we have to do that requires us to like sort of backtrack a little bit. But so now we get to call Meryl, and boy, this is a conversation. And if you're wondering, I wonder if this character and this dynamic between these two characters will remain as awkward as it feels here. I'll just give a tiny spoiler and say, boy, does it. And so, yeah, but you're talking to Meryl, and you guys go through a lot of discussion. One, I mean, the main plan that you get out of it, right, is that she knows where Hal Emmerich is being kept, where he's staying at. However, to get down there, you need level 5 clearance. Don't worry, though. I have it. I can get the door open for you. However, there's a lot of discussion in the middle of that planning that is Snake basically being like, you're not ready, and I can tell, but the reason I can tell is because she's like, oh, because I have rookie eyes, and he's like, no, because you have beautiful eyes.
Ridiculous.
Ones that haven't been dimmed by fucking killing or whatever. And she's like, oh my god, is this the legendary Solid Snake? Like, it's like the whole fucking thing. And you're just like, oh brother, get a room.
It was ridiculous.
And then what's funny though is that she goes on to say that you, like, in the middle of it, she keeps talking about how she wants to meet the legendary Solid Snake and how she's always wanted to be a soldier like you and blah blah blah. And Snake more or less is like, hey, you know, like the legend doesn't always match up to the real thing. So like, you should just keep the legend is a lot better than the real thing. So you should just keep that in your mind and don't ruin it with, you know, trying to get to know the real me or whatever it is. And Meryl's like, oh whatever, blah blah blah. But then halfway through the call, he tells her like, more or less like, if you're gonna get in my way and you're gonna end up causing issues, so just hide somewhere and don't get in my fucking way because you suck, more or less. And she's like, oh wow, like you actually are rude as fuck. And he's like, well, I tried telling you, like that's the difference between the legend and the real thing. And you're like, oh boy, all right. But like I said, so between that conversation, that is where we actually get the planning part. So we get down to where she unlocks the cargo door for you so that we can proceed. And when she does unlock that cargo door, she's basically like, anyways, fuck you. I am going to run through this and try to continue on because it's the only way that I can tell if I was actually meant to be a soldier. And Snake's like, don't fucking do it. And then she hangs up on you and you leave. And so from here, this is where we get go through the next infrared lasers room, which is where the thermal goggles also become very handy. You also can still use cigarettes if you need to. Preston, I'm interested to know, since you don't have the thermal goggles or cigarette, I mean, you do have cigarettes, but I don't think you used it. How did you get through this room?
I don't remember there being a second room full of lasers.
Yeah, there definitely is.
All right, let me pull up. I can pull my gameplay real quick and tell you, because to be fair, it's been a while since played it, but like I don't remember there being a second set of lasers. I can pull.
I'm trying to think too. I don't remember there being a second set of lasers because we're not. Are we at a?
This is
fight
before
right
you get to
after
the
this,
canyon,
right?
before you fight the tank.
I don't
This
remember
this
being...
this section leads to that, and I know you both did that.
All right, so I'm going through.
I mean, I did it too. I did it. It's just been, I guess, been a couple weeks. I don't recall there being a second room of lasers.
Yeah, it would be right before you get out to the canyon.
But I had, like you, I had thermal goggles. So I used thermal goggles in 3, I think, different rooms. Like
Yeah, this would have been
the room where there's like the 6 little rooms inside of it. I used it in a couple of those. Yeah.
All right, so I'm in the tank hangar. We get a call from an unknown person, right? The Codex.
Yeah, the unknown. This would have been just before that. So this would be after Meryl's call, where she's like, "I unlocked the cargo door for you, but you have to run through this cargo area to get out."
This is the spot to where I like because it's at the very top of that tank hangar, right?
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if this might be a difference between easy mode and normal.
I think this is where
Maybe.
I did the whole crawling on the ground. I don't know what lasers you were talking about beforehand. Then
You might have done that, but it's still. If that's what happened, we'll reference your video footage here. But if that's what happened, I want to tell you how truly lucky that is because these lasers move.
okay,
So
I went to the left side and I just went straight because there's like multiple lines right there, and
Right.
I just crawled on the left side going straight forward and didn't have a problem.
So if you did that, you somehow got the timing down so that when those are moving down, you just didn't happen to be there,
Yeah.
which is very impressive because if these lasers touch you at any point, all the doors lock and then it fills the room full of toxic gas and you die.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I say I did this room because I died once to that without using anything, and then I used the thermal goggles afterward.
Yeah. I just crawled
Right.
straight through on the left side, had no problems.
Incredible. Absolutely
Okay,
incredible.
all right, cool deal. Fucking
Well,
pro over here.
Yeah, you want to talk
Maybe-
about a sneaking... Oh, we want to talk about a sneaking mission. There
No, I
you go.
know.
You just snuck right by all these damn lasers.
Maybe there's not as many lasers in Easy. Who knows? I am playing
I don't
Easy,
know.
so
Yeah, that could be a
caveat,
difference.
For those of you who
I'm
know.
not sure. Yeah, because she tells you, like, hey, it's going to fill with toxic gas.
Yeah, she
and
told me
you'll
that.
die.
I remember that part. Yep. So I think at one
Okay.
point I just tried to like walk forward just to see when it would start, and then I got that happened. But then I did the crawl and no problem.
Incredible.
And then cutscene because what happens next? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll go right there. That's very wow. Okay. So so we get out to the canyon and we get a call from somebody. Preston, would you like to say his name?
I don't even know if I remember right now.
I can't believe you don't remember because I felt like I heard this code name and I was like, Preston's going to write this one down.
It's Raven something, isn't it?
It's
No,
disco.
that's the boss fight.
Oh.
Oh, then no, I don't remember, man. It's been a hot minute.
Okay. So this is the one where the guy who calls us and he gives us a heads up saying, "Hey, there's a tank outside that's waiting to ambush you. You know."
And this is
be
the
on
guy with
lookout."
they don't show his face, right?
Yeah, it's a static. Yep.
Okay.
And then Snake goes, "Who are you? Like, what are you like? How did you get over this frequency? You must be
Oh,
nearby."
yes, it's the Watergate guy. What the fuck they call him again?
Deep Throat. It is
Deep
Deep
Throat,
Throat.
yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And he even says like Watergate. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, "That's not important right now."
yeah.
Yeah.
Deep Throat didn't
yeah,
get me
I
as hard
thought-
right here because of the Watergate things. I'm like, okay, just Watergate, Deep Throat, whatever.
I figured as soon as you heard the code name, you were like, "Oh, I'll be writing that one down to talk about that."
I bet he does. No.
Yeah, but yes, so this is the person who's reaching out to us. He warns us about it. So this is the part that I was saying that you can use for the mine detector. So when you look up at the radar here, there's like same sort of icons as cameras. That's signifying that there is a Claymore mine somewhere in that area. And if you use the mine detector, it will disable them for you.
I did get the mine detector. I thought you said mind detector.
Oh,
So
yeah, no.
I did get the mine detector, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you use this to gather up all of these claymores, and then you can use them to make this fight a little bit easier. I don't know how you guys did it, but we'll talk about it. So this is where we meet Vulcan Raven, and this is where we'll end up ending today, which we'll explain here in a little bit. But so yes, we go through this fight. So you can do one of two things. There's obviously grenades and other options that you have throughout this fight. One of the calls that you get through the codec from Campbell and Natasha is that they tell you that if you use chaff grenades, that will disrupt the tank's weapon, like its long-range weapon, and that will allow you to get close and do whatever it is that you need to do. I can see Preston's head shaking, so I'm just going to reiterate. I know we've talked about it a bunch of times. I'm going to say the codec pauses everything that's happening to you, so when you get into something, use the codec, call everybody. They will give you information, and they will give you backstory, lore, sometimes hints. It's very helpful. But
if you
yes.
don't, you'll keep walking up and getting smoked every single time without being able to see the boss. Be like, walking up, boom, maybe take this way, boom, nope, okay, I'm just getting fucked either way. And then finally, the weapons expert calls me. She's like, hey, you should probably use your chaff grenades to disable their radar. I'm like, okay, all right, fine.
Yes.
I died the first time, called people to use the chaff grenades after that, never had a problem.
They called me to let me know. They knew I was fucking up.
Yeah, I bet they did. I bet they did. It's hilarious to me, by the way, that you got through that whole laser room without even knowing what the fuck was going on. But then when you come out here, they have to call you.
Yep.
That's very funny. But yeah, so here's the fight. So we run around, we can pick up grenades, and then like Alex was saying, you can throw chaff grenades to disrupt his targeting system, and then whip grenades at him to do damage to the tank, to the drivers, and then be done. However, another option is all those claymores we picked up, you can use to damage the bottom version of the tank, like the bottom part of the tank, and destroy all the treads so that it can't move anymore. And then you just get to stand behind it, free, like no issues, and just whip grenades at them until they die, which is fun. Those are the two ways that you can do this fight, though. But also, I wanted to point out that in the intro to this fight, when Vulcan Raven's like, he gives his little spiel about how he's gonna beat the shit out of you. This is the third or fourth time that it's happened, but whenever they introduce these characters like out here, and their actual voice actor's name is in parentheses under their character name, and I just want to point out that God, if there was any other sometimes it feels like Kojima is like trying to hold you down and punch you in the face to tell you that he really, really likes Hollywood action movies, and he really likes them. And he wants you to know how badly he really likes them. Because this feels very, cinematic, you know what I mean? Like, it's showing the character name. It's like, by the way, this is who voiced him. So, keep that in mind. Like, it's just the way they do it. I always think it's so funny. There's the little... You don't see that in other video games. Like, they don't do that.
Not usually, no.
Even today. Like, it's still... Metal Gear is still one of the only series that ever does that.
I say maybe you get credits. If you get credits at the beginning, maybe they'll show something there, but that's it. But the whole time.
But not when a character gets introduced. Like, it just doesn't happen.
No.
Like, we've all
they did it for with Revolver Ocelot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Baker when you go to talk to him. And that's the funny is that's why it's just it just continues all these characters that do that. But it's so funny because like we all just playing through Monster Hunter, and there's many a character that you beat in that story, and gun to my head, if you asked me to name one of those voice actors, I wouldn't be able to do it. No. So it's just funny that Metal Gear is still one of the only ones that does that. But yeah, so we get into after we destroy the tank, we bust out one of the main jobbers that was in there with Vulcan Raven. We take his level 3 key card and we move on to the nuke building. But Vulcan Raven is, when we leave, he goes and calls somebody and basically is like, hey man, you're not wrong. Like, as soon as he gets into a fight, it's like he's being possessed by a demon. And the guy's like, fucking right? I know. And he goes and he says, it's just like you. And then he says that he plans on meeting Snake again in battle, and the next time he will be the one who wins. And this is where we head back into the nuke building to continue our search for Hal Emmerich. Now, I know there was a little bit of discrepancy here because of the way that sometimes this can get laid out in a guide form, and I was just giving level nuns. So I don't want to go too much farther than you got, Preston. So I'm going to ask, did you get through the room with the remote control rocket launcher? No. Okay, so we are going to stop here then.
Yeah, because I think when I got in that first area after the tank, like I think you can either go straight to the elevator or
You can.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Is I saw the elevator, I went into it, like okay, well, just hit that button, and go down. I
Yeah.
may have
So-
looked around a little bit, but no.
Yeah, so to continue on that second floor, you will need to have been up the first floor to do some exploration, do that stuff, and then go to the second floor. That was, like I said, we were doing level names, and it got a little weird, so we're going to stop there for this week. And so that ending fight there, so we'll get to some closing thoughts. But so there will be a little bit of extra stuff that we have to play for part 3, but it won't be too bad. It'll just be basically like an extra boss fight and some cutscenes, but it won't be too bad. But yeah, so that is that. So we are ending on this Vulcan Raven part then, and we will leave the nuke building and some other places for next time. We'll say where we're gonna end here at the end here, but we're at some part where we got some story now. Like we've met some villains, we've met some potentially not a villain, maybe not. I don't know. We've met Meryl. And had we sort of felt like we were sitting in a cuck chair watching her and Snake talk to each other. But yeah, so you guys go. I mean, what do you guys think so far?
Gox.
I like it all. So I told you the last time once I got the keycard stuff, I would go back and explore, and I did. And I think I got the mine detector, I got the FAMAS, I got a lot of things. Now that I understand that I can knock people out, I love it. It's fine. I could run through, because before, in the first time, I was hiding from everybody, but now I'm just running through, like, knocking everybody out and choking them out. I thought, because, I got the game plan, if you will, on the tank, so I figured out how that was supposed to go, so I didn't have any trouble with the tank. It's just, like, whenever I hear the guy in the dialogue is like, I'll be back to fight him, and it won't be so easy next time, I'm just like, man, there's enough enemies in here. Like, do I need to fight you again? Like, we've already done this dance. Like, do I care that much? You weren't that compelling. You're just big man in a tank, and you weren't even really big man in a tank. You threw your like little minions up top, and then when I killed those two, you ran out.
Batman.
So I don't know. Yeah, I did like the Revolver Ocelot one once I figured it out. I like some of the areas we've been in. Like, I think they've done a good job with like the different levels of the base we're going through and stuff. And I like the story we're getting. I still don't love some of the phone calls with the girls. It's weird. It's just so much, like, so in your face. But otherwise, like, I'm actually enjoying it. I'm interested to see where the story is going. I did make it, a little bit further here. The next room, I can't wait to hear what Preston has to say about it. Christian asked with
So
the
I
remote
did take
control.
care of that room. So I did look at my video. I did take care of that first room, and then because you gotta get to the elevator, right? The elevator is like on like the second floor up there. So I did finish that first room.
Yeah, that's what.
But
it doesn't. We'll still talk about it.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about it next week.
And we'll see how I feel after this next fight we were supposed to get to that we didn't get to, because I did try it. That's all I'll say. But up to this point, yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking the story. I'm interested to see where it goes. The whole like they finally figured out how to do it. Like, what does that mean? So yeah, I think it's good so far. Now that I know how to neutralize people.
Yeah. No, so far I'm enjoying it. Not having any issues with my stealth too much. There is the room coming out through the tank that we might want to talk about a little bit, but I got the hang of that. But yeah, no, I've been just like doing what Alex is doing. If I get the opportunity to take one of those guys out permanently, I do it. So now that I know I just gotta tap the buttons to get them out, permanently. It's
So now
been
that all
a lot of
three,
help.
or so now that you guys have done that, I kind say I still think the animation is hilarious for that, because the guys, like, when you grab them and start mashing the button, the guy just goes like, and then he just dies.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Twitches
just like,
to your button
funny,
mashes, yeah.
it's such a funny audio thing.
Yeah. Didn't get the thermal goggles. That kind of held me up a little bit. So I got to that
It
second
doesn't sound
laser.
like it held you up at all. It sounds like you just walked right through.
Well, I mean, I was looking for the thermal goggles. So I'm like sitting
Yeah.
there. I'm like, and they're like, okay, I'm like, let's Google. Okay, where's the thermal goggles? Like, they're in this room. I'm like, go up there. I'm like, well, I can't fucking open this door. Like, I'm opening up all the other doors. It's just your key card doesn't open that door up. Previously, that door was open, and if you got it back then, you can get it. But if you don't get it then, from what I understand, is you cannot get that there. At least, I mean, maybe you can find them later on in the game in a different room. Maybe there's a second set of
I'm not
goggles.
sure.
But if you don't get the thermal goggles, then you're not gonna get it the rest of the game.
I'm not sure.
From what I
no.
saw and the guys I was reading, and kind of like, hey, where do you get it? How do you get it? Like, if you haven't got it by then, unfortunately, you can't get it. So you're gonna have to deal with the lasers. And I didn't get the call about cigarettes.
I don't know that there's any time that it comes back up anyway.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, no one said that like you would need to go reload your save because you messed up. It's just one of those things to where it's like it'll help you for different things, but not necessary really. But yeah, I think that's hilarious. That like I just figured it was just the same kind of lasers that were in that armory, to where it's just there's just a space underneath all of them. So that's what I thought I did. I thought I just crawled underneath it, but yeah, no, it's you will have seen in the video that I will put up for you that I just straight up crawled through it, no problems. No one had to tell me about smoking cigarettes. I've been looking for opportunity to. Like I'm like,
well, I mean, they do tell you to smoke cigarettes, but you just didn't do it, which is fine. But it's like an automatic one.
Oh, okay. So I just didn't pay attention to what she was saying at that point. Okay, fair enough. Skipping dialogue. It happens, I guess. But yeah, I called through there. The tank one was funny. I didn't realize that you could pick up the you can't pick up the mines, right? It was the claymores from the armory, right?
No, in the canyon, if you're using the mine detector, you can pick up the claymores.
Oh, I just avoided them. I didn't know you can pick them up.
Yeah, that mine
Same.
detector disables
I avoided
for
them
you.
as well.
Yeah, the mine detector disables them for you.
Okay, disables them.
I just thought it showed you where they were, so I was just
Same.
like, oh, I'll stay away from it.
Then
Yeah.
don't walk this path. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Then I got to there. You know, you get the little cutscene, and it's like, okay, well, the camera angle of this game is not letting you see shit as far as where the tank's at. I'm like, so try this path. Nope. You get shot a bunch of times, or you get shot once and die. And try this way. Nope. You get laid out there too. And that's when I got the call, like, hey, you should use those other grenades. They'll help with messing with the radar. I'm like, okay, all right. So I pop up, throw the grenade, just fine, and then I just toss all my other grenades at him, and they go down. I think he was really cool. As far as the design, like all tatted up, bald head, you got a little crow that flies in every once in a while to talk to him, I guess, whatever. Yeah, I thought he was kind of pretty cool. I'm curious to see what happens with him. I'm assuming later on in this game, because obviously we didn't kill him. So either he pops up in this game or he pops up possibly in another game, because I've seen cutscenes to where I know for the fact that Revolver Ocelot is in Metal Gear Solid 4. So I got a little bit of spoilers for me on that one.
In some ways.
see,
Yeah.
who knows what that actually means? So, but yeah, you could possibly see some of his characters pop up later on in different games for unknown reasons. But yeah, I'm curious to see if he pops up anymore, because he was just inside of a tank, and then we killed some other henchmen, some jobbers, and then we just left him to be there and then walked away. So that was weird. But yeah, then we get to the nuclear place, and I'll stop there for now. Yeah, no, it's I even use the box in that like top section of like the tank hangar. Like I said, so I got the box there that's gonna help me out a little bit. I'm not having too bad of a time with the stealth in here, so far so good.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not having too bad of a time with the stealth either. Like I said, now that I know that I can kill people or choke them out, like it's fine.
Yeah. I do appreciate. So I think that one of the things I like is that by this point now, it truly, I think, is starting to take shape of like a espionage thriller kind of story movie thing. Like it does. I think it's falling more like, it feels like a Mission Impossible type sort of story. You know what I mean?
This second part made it more fantasy. Like, we got a little bit of that, like, in the end of the first part, because you got Psycho Mantis that just pops up to do some weird shit. But other than him, like, you didn't have any idea that this is going to go, like, into the fantastical. Like, you just thought it was another, like, you know, SOCOM or some kind of crazy, like, military kind of stealth game. But once you start getting more of this, you kind of like, okay, there's some characters in here that are...
Kojima also likes anime.
Yeah,
yes.
Kojima also likes anime, so we're going to get some crazy shit. So it's nice to see that and see some more of that. So I'm curious to get through more of this to kind of see more of that crazy shit. That's the whole reason why we're playing this, because we want to see Kojima's crazy shit.
Yeah, boy, there's this next part coming up. If you would, it's Kojima really hammers on some of the crazy, especially the fight that Alex talked about after it finishes. There is some stuff there in that cutscene that's just like, it's very Kojima. Is all I'll say. Right. It's extremely Kojima.
I'll find out.
But so where we will end next time. So there will be a boss called Sniper Wolf. And then right after we finish that boss, Mei Ling will automatically call you and tell you to save your game. When she says that, you can hit save, and then you're done. You can be done right there. No, not a step further. Just end right there.
So defeat Sniper Wolf, get the call from Mei Ling, and then quit.
Correct.
Cool.
And that'll be it. That'll be all. That's where we'll stop for part 3.
And you said there's gonna be a 4 or
All
5
right.
parter.
Let's see.
6?
No, it'll be. I'll say 5.
5 to keep it safe.
We
Yeah.
could make it a 4-parter, but I think that could be a bit much. So we'll do 5.
I gotta save time.
5
for
just
Russ
might be a little bit shorter, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that is part 2 of Metal Gear Solid, our video game book club Christian's pick right now. Check us out next week as Christian is back on the pod during our weekly prologue, and then we are back at you with part 3. So, that is that, boys. I'm excited to get into it, and I hope everybody is playing along with us. With that, Preston, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.